bled in the mud for our family. And as my reward, I was trundled off to some dark little cell. But what do I want? A little bloody gratitude would be a start.
Jugglers and singers require applause. You are a Lannister.
Hello, my sweet summer children. I'm back with some juice to get you through the long night. It's Mother's Day time, and guess what that means?
You are not.
That baby don't look like me. That baby don't look like me.
That's right. It's Gray DNA Day. I haven't done one of these videos in a very long time. If you missed the DNA test that I did on John, Gendry, Sweet Robin, or Rob, then I have compiled them all on a playlist for your binge watching pleasure at the top of this video and down in the description box. If you don't know what these DNA videos are about, well, it's where we use this new technology that I created that does not exist yet in Westeros, and we find out who the dad of a character actually is by analyzing the description, narrative, and actions of a character. And we do this because everyone is someone's secret child, you know what I mean?
My baby boss. Mine, I'm the father of that baby boss. Boss, I'm that baby's daddy. Any fool can see that baby belongs to me. I want it different. That little rascal belonged to me.
Proud to say, boss, I'm that baby's daddy.
I be the paw boss.
I'm the paw of that there youngin' boss.
I'm the pappy.
So before we get started, I would just like to say Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. Mothers, sisters, aunties, cousins, fathers, brothers, anyone raising kids or helping raise kids or babysitting or feeding kids or whatever. I don't have kids. I'm the mother of cats and sweet summer children. But anyway, Happy Mother's Day to everyone. We're going to decide today who is the father of Tyrion Lannister. The video I did on secret clues from Game of Thrones last week stirred up a ton of controversy, scandalous. So I figured, perfect time to do a DNA video. Most of you know I think Tyrion is a Lannister, but I've decided to let the DNA decide and not me. So let's jump right into the first part of the test, description. So let's make a list of Tyrion's features. So he's a dwarf, he's short, he has mismatched eyes, one black, one green. His hair is also mixed matched. His hair is a mixture of pale blondes and black hair. So he has stunted legs and he's really smart and educated. So the alleged fathers are between Aerys and Tywin. So let's examine Aerys' features and Tywin's features. So Tywin is tall and bald, but his side whiskers are bushy and golden, so likely Tywin had golden hair. So his eyes are green. He's also very intelligent. So all the Lannisters that I can remember ever, they all have green eyes. Cersei, Jaime, Joffrey, the whole Lion Pack, they all have green eyes. But let's look at the Mad King. So the Mad King has traditional Targaryen or Valyrian features, purple eyes, silver gold hair. All of his children have the same features, purplish eyes, indigo, silver hair. So typical Targaryen. So Tyrion doesn't have any of these Targaryen features, but neither does Jon, and Jon is clearly a Targaryen. So I would actually consider pale blonde highlights or whatever kind of Targaryen-ish Tyrion got going on in his hair. I would consider that silver hair. I would think that pale blonde or ash blonde would be silver hair, but that's just my opinion. But anyway, Tyrion does have one green eye and one black eye. So a commenter on my secret clues video gave me the explanation as to why Tyrion has mismatched eyes. So I researched it, and it was just like very eye-opening. So there's this thing called Chimaera. It's a real world thing and it's very rare. So Chimaera is an organism containing a mixture of genetically different DNA, such as fusion of early embryos. It's crazy, but basically in a nutshell, if you're a baby in the womb, you're not even a baby yet, maybe you're like a zygote, but you eat your twin and consume some of their DNA. I know it's weird shit, but it's real. It happens. So basically, Tyrion could have mismatched eyes because he had a twin in the womb that he ate.
I am the greatest Lannister killer of our time.
So twins run in the Lannister family. Tyrion has a brother and sister that are twins. But there are also twins that run in the Targaryen family as well. But guess what? The Chimaera baby in the womb eating thing, there's a case of that in the story where we hear of a twin eating its sibling in the womb. And guess who it is? It's a Blackfyre Targaryen, Meleys the Monstrous. Meleys was the last of the Blackfyre pretenders. He ate his twin in the womb, and allegedly he even had a second head. Like, he just didn't eat the twin all the way because he still had part of the head. It's so weird. The Captain General's tent was made of cloth of gold and surrounded by a ring of pikes, topped with gilded skulls. One skull was larger than the rest, grotesquely malformed. Below it was a second, no larger than a child's fist. Meleys the Monstrous and his nameless brother. So Meleys ate his brother in the womb, kept his head. The Golden Company has both their skulls. The nameless brother that he ate in the womb, whose head was growing out of his fucking shoulder, and his head, which was monstrous like Tyrion's. So in the books, our first introduction to Meleys comes from Jaime and then Tyrion. So Meleys consumed his twin in a case of Chimaera. So is that what happened to Tyrion? I don't know. But guess what? In Greek mythology, a Chimaera is a fire-breathing female monster with a lion's head, a goat's body, and a serpent's tail. Oberyn tells Tyrion that he was male and female. He had a tail. He had a grotesquely huge head. But if Tyrion is a fire-breathing lion, he could be a dragon and a lion. But wait! Soon after Tyrion talks about Meleys with Illyrio, Tyrion has this weird dream. That night, Tyrion Lannister dreamed of a battle that turned the hills of Westeros as red as blood. He was in the midst of it, dealing death with an axe as big as he was, fighting side by side with Barristan the Bold and Bittersteel as dragons wheeled across the sky above them. In the dream, he had two heads, both noseless. His father led the enemy, so he slew him once again. Then he killed his brother Jaime, hacking at his face until it was a red ruin, laughing every time he struck a blow. Only when the fight was finished did he realize that his second head was weeping. Tyrion has two heads in this dream. Tyrion actually is dreaming that he's Meleys the Monstrous. I mean, this is crazy. But do you think all of this is meant to just mislead us? Or what? Or does this mean, like, nothing? But let's move on because we're not even there yet. So next we have the narrative. So the narrative is kind of confusing. There is this big build-up and dynamic situation going on between Tyrion and Tywin. And Tywin tells Tyrion, "You're not my son." And Tyrion says, "Yes, I am. I've always been your son." Tyrion acts just like Tywin. He's the political power player that Tywin is. Tywin basically treats Tyrion like shit though. And he does this either because he's a dwarf or because Tywin is unsure of his paternity.
Men's laws give you the right to bear my name and display my colour, since I cannot prove that you are not mine.
So let's look at the actual narrative that we're given. So Tywin Lannister marries his cousin Joanna Lannister, and they have twins, Jaime and Cersei. Perfect and beautiful, two peas in a pod. So Tywin is handed the king. Tywin and Aerys are friends, and so on and so on. But prior to the birth of Cersei and Jaime, back when Tywin got married, we find out that this situation happened between Aerys and Joanna Lannister. So Aerys was apparently a little obsessed with Joanna Lannister, Tyrion's mother. We find out that after the wedding, during the bedding ceremony between Tywin and Joanna, Aerys took certain liberties. We also know that shortly after that, Rhaella Targaryen, Aerys' wife, dismissed Joanna Lannister from her service. Why did she do this? I wonder why. Scandalous. But let's fast forward a little bit. So Tyrion was born in 273 AC. So could Aerys have gotten Joanna Lannister pregnant? Was she ever even around Aerys during the time where it would make it possible that Tyrion is his kid? Well, the Tyrian Targaryen theory starts at attorney, where most parentage theories start.
Lord Went held a great tourney at Harrenhal until he rode right past his wife, Elia Martell, and all the smiles died, and he lay a crown of winter roses in Lyanna's lap.
So Joanna Lannister came to King's Landing in 272 AC for a tourney, the anniversary tourney, the tourney that marked King Aerys' 10th year on the Iron Throne. At this tourney, Aerys asked Joanna if breastfeeding Jaime and Cersei had ruined her tits. I don't even want to know what else happened there, but whatever it was, Tywin was outraged and he tried to resign, and King Aerys refused to let him resign. But what if Aerys and Joanna had a private moment of love or rape? I don't know. It's weird how these things work in this story. I don't know. However, the timing adds up. They were both in the same area where Tyrion could have been conceived and born on his actual... the timing adds up. So Aerys could be his father. But let's continue. If you're still following, shit's about to get crazy. Actions. Let's talk about actions. So Tyrion acts just like Tywin, but Tyrion is obsessed with dragons. In Tyrion's own words, he has a morbid fascination for dragons. So the first thing Tyrion does when he comes to King's Landing is seek out dragon skulls. Tyrion reads about dragons. Tyrion has dragon dreams. Dragon dreams is a very Targaryen thing. So he's also obsessed with them. He's obsessed with dragons. He asks one of his uncles for a dragon for his birthday. But then again, he's so much like Tywin. Every little girl needs a big brother to protect her. Tywin was big even when he was little. Who will protect us now? Jaime kissed her cheek. He left a son. He did. That is what I fear the most, in truth. That was a queer remark. Why should you fear? Jaime, she said, tugging on his ear. Sweetling, I have known you since you were a babe at Joanna's breast. You smile like Tyrion and fight like Tig, and there's some Kevin in you, else you would not wear that cloak. But Tyrion is Tywin's son, not you. I said it once to your father's face, and he would not speak to me for half a year. I do have to confess, what Tywin's sister is referring to is learned behavior. She's speaking of Tyrion's intelligence, his political mind, his clever move-making type of thing, and all this stuff. That it's all learned behavior. It's not like Tyrion could have been raised by Walder Frey and would still make the moves of Tywin Lannister when he grew up. So he learned from Tywin. It's kind of like the Jon and Ned Stark thing. Jon is a lot like Ned Stark because Ned Stark raised him. But with all that said, it is a huge statement that's being made by Tywin's own sister, and she's known Tyrion since he was a baby. So the main flaw in the whole theory for me is the dynamic relationship between Tyrion and Tywin. If Tyrion isn't Tywin's son, if Tyrion was the constant reminder of Tywin's wife's infidelity, or how Aerys made a fool of Tywin by impregnating his wife, then Tywin is somewhat justified in his mislike and mistrust of Tyrion.
You're no son of mine.
I am your son. I have always been your son.
Now, I talked a bit about Chimaera, but I want to tell you about another medically weird thing. I know this video is just getting weird. It's just getting weirder and weirder, but just hear me out. So I hope I say this right. So it's called superfecundation. What that is, and it's a real world thing, as crazy as it sounds. So it's basically that when twins are born with different fathers. So a man and a woman have sex and an egg is fertilized, and that same woman has sex with another man and another egg is fertilized. Fraternal twins are made. She's pregnant by two different fathers. It's just crazy. I know. But It has happened in the real world life. It has happened. There's articles on this. There's real articles on this. So let's say that Joanna Lannister had sex with Aery. She got pregnant with Tyrion. And Tywin then has sex with Joanna. She gets pregnant while she's already pregnant, and then boom, Tyrion eats the baby and gets Tywin's DNA as well as Aerys' DNA. And that's why Tyrion has 2 hair colors, black and white, and 2 eye colors, green and black. And that's why Tyrion acts like Tywin, but is obsessed and dreams of dragons. And that's why in the show, he can actually touch the dragons and they don't kill him. I have some separate theories on dragons not killing people, even though they're not Targaryen. But in the show, that whole Tyrion dragon tamer thing, that was a part of Quentin's storyline in the books. But the dragons turned Quentin Martell into smoked Dornish sausage for the same thing. So the dragons actually did burn Quentin. They didn't do anything to Tyrion in the show. But I don't know if that really means anything, because the dragons had to be set free some kind of way. They had to be set free, so I don't know. Does it mean anything? Let's keep going. When we look at the reference between Tyrion and Meleys the Monstrous in the Chimaera theory, let's look again at the super fecundation. We know George is inspired by mythology, all kinds of mythology, Greek mythology being one of those inspirations. In Greek mythology, we have twins with the same mother but 2 different fathers, Castor and Pollux. Castor was the mortal son of Tyndareus, and Pollux was the son of Zeus. Castor and Pollux didn't eat each other in the womb, but they were twins with 2 different fathers, which Tyrion could have been a twin with 2 different fathers that ate his twin in the womb. Maybe Tywin had a suspicion that something was up, and that's why he treated Tyrion like that. Why does Tywin even think that Tyrion might not be his kid? Like, why is that even a possibility for him? Now, my issue with the Tyrion Targaryen theory is that it takes away from Tywin and Tyrion. It takes away from them. It makes you almost feel sorry for Tywin. Not really though, but it takes away a lot. Like, I want to see someone else that's not a Targaryen be important. And I think Tyrion's important, and I don't think his importance has anything to do with Tyrion being a Targaryen. And I don't want his story or his arc, his drama with his family, the value that he has just as the Imp of Lannister, to be overshadowed by him being another secret Targaryen dragon rider. However, that's kind of selfish of me, and I can't be an honest reviewer, honest theory crafter, and just disregard the overwhelming amount of evidence that something is going on just because I don't want something to be a certain way. But with that said, there is a ton of evidence that points to Tyrion being a Targaryen. Jon, Daenerys, and Tyrion's mothers all dying in childbirth. This could be coincidental. In medieval times, it was pretty common for women to die in childbirth. But I'm going to stop because the DNA results are in. Tywin, you are the father. Aerys, you are the father too. So yes, I'm super pro Tyrion being a Lannister. Like, I can't even joke. I am. But I just can't ignore all the Targaryen references and evidence. However, I do think it's very possible that Tyrion has both Tywin and Aerys' DNA. I think it's very possibly a case of super fecundation and Chimaera. And maybe that explains why this theory is 50-50. Tyrion is a Targaryen seems to be the theory that most people are split on straight down the middle. It's like if you ask somebody, do you think Tyrion is a Targaryen? You have a 50-50 chance of getting a yes or no. It's straight down the middle. It's very split. And you might ask yourself, girl, do you really think George is looking up super fecundation and Chimaera and Greek mythology? Yes, I do think that he does this kind of shit because it takes him like a decade to write a book. So yes, I do think that he checks all of this stuff and fact checks and double checks. And I think he just knows a lot of shit. But what do you think? This theory video was covered and smothered in tinfoil, but I like doing tinfoil sometimes, and I will admit that this is the tinfoil of the tinfoilist that I've ever done on my channel. So let me know, Tyrion Lannister or Tyrion Targaryen. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone that supports me on Patreon. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and join the Sweet Summer family. Okay, my sweet summer children, have a good day.
Shame. Shame.